What's up, guys? Welcome to GoGo Motoring YouTube channel. So I'm kind of kicking myself for not bringing my GoPro with me on my business trip. So this video is actually getting filmed by my wife through the iPhone. So apologize for the production value ahead of time, but just wanted to do a quick driving review of the Ford Mustang. This is the 4-cylinder turbo version, I think, and so it's gonna be a quick little video. So let me kind of begin by just telling you about the Ford Mustang. I can't, think of another car that I was as excited about as this current generation of the Ford Mustang when it first came out in 2015. When I saw the videos of what the car was going to look like, I thought the car looked absolutely amazing. It was actually designed by a guy named Kemal Čurić, and the guy's originally from Yugoslavia, like I am. So shout out to him, but it's definitely one of the best looking cars out there, I think. And it's so the looks of the car were amazing. The other big change that they had with this generation of the Ford Mustang is that the car finally got the independent rear suspension, which was something that probably should have been done a long time ago. But it was done with this particular generation. It made the car makes the car a lot more stable in corners, and it makes it more of a sports car instead of just a car that can go fast in a straight line. So initially there were three versions of this car, or three trims levels. One was the Turbo 4, another one was a V6, and then there was the V8, the Coyote engine V8. That's probably the one, the 5.0, the leader, the one that everybody probably buys and thinks of when you hear the word Ford Mustang. But the V6 was discontinued a couple years after its release, so the two levels were the Turbo 4 and then the V8. So this is the Turbo 4, and I had a chance to test drive a V8 when it first came out, and it was a good experience. But I'll tell you, one of the things I didn't really like about it as much was that it did feel a little bit front end heavy, and in comparison to this car, it actually doesn't feel as sort of nimble as this 4-cylinder turbo does. So let me kind of just begin by telling you what I don't like about the car, and then I'll conclude the review with what I do like about the car. So the car looks great. I think Ford's done a good job of improving the interior of the car to an extent, but it still doesn't have, it's not a premium level of material. I mean, this still kind of feels like plastic, and even though it looks like there's a little bit of leather here, or faux leather, that the interior is fine. It's better than in the previous generation Mustang. I like some of these dials right here that are sort of reminiscent of fighter jets from World War II, kind of like the different buttons that you have here that you can push. So it looks nice. It's just not it definitely does not have a premium feel like a BMW would, or an Audi, Mercedes, etc. So the car, in some ways, even though it's been improved, it does sort of feel a little kind of like like any other Ford, like your Mazda 6, like your Toyota. That's the level of the quality of the interiors of this car. The other thing that I'm not too crazy about is the steering. It's electrically assisted steering, I think, or at least it feels that way. It's pretty light. It does provide some feedback, but not a great amount of feedback. So if I were to compare like the steering feel in this particular car to my 328i, the E92, the steering feel of the E92 is better. It's more weighty, and you get more feedback through the steering wheel than you do through this particular car. The other thing that I've noticed that's sort of a negative with this car, the combination of the Turbo 4 and this automatic transmission, is it does feel like there's a little bit of a lag whenever you hit the accelerator. So there's probably a little bit of turbo lag, and you combine that with this automatic transmission that this car comes equipped with, and you're sort of you push the pedal down, especially if you're coming out of a turn. Like if you're in a straight, it's fine, but if you're like coming across out of a turn and you hit the gas, or you're trying to accelerate, the car takes a little bit of Hey guys, sorry, so the video cut out a little bit, but what I was saying, the other negative with this particular car is that, you know, the combination of it being a Turbo 4 along with this automatic transmission, there is a little bit of a delay whenever you hit the throttle, and the car reacts, especially when you're coming out of the turn. So those are basically the negatives for this car, right? Like there's not that many, right? It's the transmission, the automatic transmission with the Turbo 4, which honestly I wouldn't buy the automatic transmission to begin with. So I think you could really eliminate a lot of the issues related to that if you just buy a stick shift like you should. And then there is a little bit of turbo lag. So those are some of the things that I'm not, you know, that I kind of criticize the car for. You know, the interior sort of feel and the responsiveness of the engine and the transmission. But I will tell you that in general, I'm a big fan of this car. I'm a big fan of this car for a couple of different reasons. It handles really well. It feels very well balanced. It feels more balanced. This Turbo 4 feels more balanced than the V8 that I test drove when it first came out. And in many ways, it kind of reminds me of, you know, like almost like a BMW in a sense that, like, you know, the car's precise. You know, if you turn left, the car immediately goes there. There's not, you know, too much body roll, at least when you're driving on regular roads. The car's got plenty of pickup. You know, once you floor it and the engine and the transmission sort themselves out, the car will go really fast. Plenty of power for everyday driving. I mean, you know, obviously I think everybody wants the V8 because that's sort of what a muscle car is about. That's what it makes a better sound, obviously, than a Turbo 4 will. But it has plenty of power. Handles really well when you're in turns. The car is planted. You can take a turn at a pretty high rate of speed, and the car feels pretty light. I'll need to check the stats on you know, how much this particular car weighs, but it feels pretty light. You know, especially for cars that, you know, that are released in this day and age. So I honestly big fan of this car, and I also like the fact this car is actually not very expensive. So you have a car that in many ways feels like a sports car, but you're not breaking the bank. And you know, for this price point, I can't imagine like what else you could buy that's, you know, new or close to being new that would be as fun to drive and also relatively useful. Obviously, it's a two-door car, so you know, that creates some limits in terms of practicality. But you can still put people in the back. You can put kids in the back. So, and again, the looks of this car are amazing. I think the looks are on par with, you know, as you know, any premium car that's out there. So, all in all, very happy with this car. Very happy to be, you know, driving this car here for the next few days. And appreciate your watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, share the video, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.